Southern Mallee Giants netball report. Zali Brown is standing by to talk to us about the last round of home and away matches. Zali, how are you?
I'm really well, thanks, Wayne. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm looking at the fixture and your girls head down to play against the Saints in Horsham. And a couple of things come out of this. It means that for some of your grades, there won't be any more netball after this weekend. The last hurrah. Is there anything for the C graders like a Mad Monday?
Oh, I'm not sure. I hope they have a Mad Monday. That'd be great. Take the Monday off, celebrate, it's the end of the season. But then hopefully they still come to support us throughout the finals.
Yeah, good stuff. Now, you're heading down to Horsham, so that'll be great. But coming off of the bye last week at A grade level and then playing the Saints, who you then will play again the following week in the qualifying final, is it a bit of a light run into the finals? I mean, is it not that ideal to have the bye against Nil and then come up against, say, the Saints who you play anyway, and the Ducks and Drakes will come out?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one to know that we're going to play them this week and nothing really comes of this week, but next week is very important that we need to win to either progress or, get that second chance. But it is definitely going to be an interesting game. We're going to obviously try. We want to win. We want to go into finals coming off a win, and it'll definitely set us up. We'll see what works, what doesn't work, and hopefully we'll be really prepped for the week after.
All right. The girls in the reserve grade, or the B grade girls, had a game against Nil where they lost 72-12, and they've really struggled, haven't they, through the year? And I noticed that some of the girls actually come up from down in the junior grades and so forth.
Yeah, our B-grade girls, they have had a really tough year with injuries each and every week. Nil obviously have a really strong B-grade side this year as they don't have an A-grade, so I think some of their A-graders probably are playing in the B-grade, which makes them really tough. But there's not much we can do about last week's game now, but we'll focus on this week and hopefully the girls finish off on a good note.
Kimmy Decker and Tia Credlin got involved and also did Jonty George with 9 goals there for the B grade, but a tough ask for them in that competition. The C graders were certainly trying very hard and they're coming out against the Nil girls and put on a terrific display. It went right down to the wire. Nil got home 31-29. The girls tried everything to win this equal at three-quarter time. They just couldn't finish that final goal.
Yeah, just a little bit of fading at the end of the game. But, to be with them at three-quarter time right up until the end, it's a really good effort. We fought hard for the entire game and just couldn't quite get there over the line in those final few minutes. But we can bounce back this week, I reckon.
Sisha Horman and Macy Hoof were the better players and 17 goals to Macy along with 10 to Rachel Watson. Really, they were shooting beautifully in a low-scoring game in the end too, so it was tough defence played out there by both the girls in the C-grade game for the Southern Mallee Giants. Having a look at the 15s, and these girls been my girls for the last few weeks, and they came out and, they were magnificent. The final score 29-6, so that is a really, really big score from the girls.
Absolutely. They had an amazing win. They played amazing, really. They worked really hard. I think they love hearing their names on the radio. It really gives them a little pick-me-up on a Friday night, and it gets them ready to go for Saturday.
Well, Macy played in goals again in the 15s up in the upper grade too, but she had 23, and it was Marnie Cook and Esther Kelly who were very good. Izzy Allen added 6 and to that 29, so the same number of goals were scored by the 15s as were in the C grade. They both scored 29 on the day. The 13s are learning a lot, and it's been a season of development for the little girls. They got 13 this time. Now, they've been struggling to get 4 or 5 goals in their weekly assessment. So Neil scored all through 24, but that's a good effort, I reckon, from the under-13s.
Yeah, the 13 goals, that's definitely was shot more than we have in the past few weeks, which is great. We've got some good little goalies, I think, coming up through the juniors, which is really exciting. And as a team, they are learning, growing, and I cannot wait to see how they go next year.
The Hoof girls are good around the goals, that's for sure, because Isabella, she put 13 in, which is fantastic, and that is the number of goals that the girls got. So they were down 10-7 at halftime, 17-11 at three-quarter, and just the 2 goals in the last quarter with the Nil girls running away with the competition. Okay, over we go now to to Coghlan Park, the indoor stadium. I want to ask you about lines on the stadium. You get basketball and then you get netty. Sometimes you get the confusion of what the actual edge of the court line is. Is that going to be a problem for your girls?
No, I don't think. I mean, it might for the first in the warm-up and all that when we're adjusting to the courts, but, when we play in Beulah, we have tennis as well as netball, lines which trip a lot of people up. So I think once you get on the court, you know what the lines are. We shouldn't have too many issues with it.
Okay, it's a big game. You play against the side you'll play the following week, and they've been very good. How do you see yourselves matching up with the Saints?
They have been amazing this year. They're a very young side with a couple of experienced players as well, which is kind of the perfect balance. Very accurate shooters and really good throughout the mid-court and defence. It's kind of strong all over the court, so we're going to have to really be on from the get-go and get as many intercepts, rebounds, just those one percenters is what's going to win the game.
Last time you met in round 9, they scored 58 to your 48. And on that occasion, it was an even first quarter, but it went pear-shaped in the second. They ran away with 17 goals to your 9. And that was really the difference between the sides. They won by 10 on that occasion. So it really is a very important thing that you don't let them get going in the second quarter, given what they did last time.
Absolutely. We need to be on for the 4 quarters. We can't switch off like we did in that second quarter last time. We gave ourselves too much of a gap to try and catch up in the last quarter, and we just couldn't do it. So we need to be right with them the whole way up until the final buzzer, when hopefully we'll be 1 or 2 goals up would be nice.
Or even more if you can. But it is going. Is there any changes to your side? Any injuries or anybody that's coming up off the bench?
We have a couple of girls, I think, that are a bit sore still from the stall game. So we don't have our starting 7 quite as we usually do. But they are still there. They'll be there if we need them. And hopefully we don't. Hopefully we don't get any injuries on Saturday, so that when we verse Saints again next week, we'll have our full side ready to go.
How do you think the B grade are going to go in their match? The Saints again a really powerful netball team, and your girls have really had to struggle through the season.
I think it will be another tough game for the B graders, unfortunately. But, they've kept going. They're at it all year. They haven't given up. They haven't walked off the court. They show up every game. They give it absolutely everything they have. And it hasn't been enough, but you never know. They might get an extra lift up from the last game of the season. And it could be a close one. It
could be, because the Saints are in 7th and they've missed finals. But by the look of this, they 26. I suppose, if they beat you in the Bs, actually, they can make the finals. So, as if Warwick Eagles were to lose their match. So there is a bit of incentive for the Horsham Saints to make sure they do win this game. And last time you met, they didn't annihilate the Southern Mallee Giants there. So maybe a bit of incentive for the girls in the Bs to stop the Saints girls making finals netball. In the C grade, this is ladder positions. Southern Mallee Giants are bottom, with the Saints up in top place. So that's probably going to be a lot harder game than the nil game last week.
I agree with that. I think that's going to be a very tough game for our C graders to finish on, playing the top side. But, they're going to go out there like they have every other week. We have a lot of juniors still playing up in that C grade as well. A lot of young girls that have only played netball, really taking it back up again this year. And they've done really well. They're learning, and this will be definitely a tough game for them. But I really hope that they fight for those entire 4 quarters.
Okay, my girls in the under-15s, they're going to come up against a Saints outfit that the junior development programs over there, and the numbers that they draw from are quite remarkable in netball. So it is always hard. They're the top of the table. They've lost just once through the season. Your girls coming in 7th place haven't been too bad, and having a bit of form last week could help them come into the game, and maybe they can take it right up to the top side.
That would be amazing if we shot like we did last week with Macy, and then, Marnie in defence, and all those, Izzy, Esther, all those girls in the middle, I think would be really good. And, taking it to the top 10, give them a little bit of a scare. They've got to prepare for finals. So we'll see what we can do against them.
All right, in the 13-year-old group, again, Saints right up at the top here. They're second behind the Ds. And your girls are in 8th place here. But you have had a couple of wins through the year. But this probably hard again. But again, the development last week, just to see the girls get above 10.
I think if we could get 10 goals on the weekend, that would be an amazing achievement for the girls. That's definitely something to be proud of when you're facing a top side, to still be able to shoot goals and put that pressure on them. I definitely think you can take just as much from the games you don't win as well as the ones that you do.
Yeah, certainly when you're in junior grades, and the mums and the supporters on the side, the timekeepers and others do a terrific job of encouraging the young kids as they come through the ranks. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how your girls go. The Southern Mallee Giants A grade have made the finals. There's not a lot to get from this weekend. They might be a dead rubber, but it won't be played dead, that's for sure, I don't reckon, by the SMG, because they love to win and they love to celebrate at the end. And I know that you're going to do some of that celebrating, aren't you?
Absolutely. I hope to be shooting well with Steph for the whole game, and if we can get us over the line, I'll be very happy.
Good stuff. Nice to talk about netball and all the things that are happening around the SMG. And, of course, for all the girls that have played the season and won't be playing in finals, it's going to be resting up and coming out to support the others. Zali Brown, good to have you on board.
Thanks, Wayne. Chat next week.